Free services, Lavazzi and Who1.co.uk present the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 500 and, oh my god, 85, something like that. I'm going to stick with that. 585. I'm Adam and 55, and here is Mary Lang.
Could you just not let me enjoy this moment of not knowingness?
And Kirby Bartlett, Sloane.
Hello, barely sentient local.
Yes. This week, this intro, and I know Debbie. You know Debbie Melrose, don't you? She has got a sense of humour, right? So anybody who isn't like me and hasn't known Debbie for a considerable period of time, probably over 10 years. Actually, you lot a little bit less. So this particular comment will probably resonate in a way that hopefully doesn't make her laugh too much. She's ill heart this week, so she's a bit poorly with her heart. But it's ironic that the episode that she's heart's playing up on is called Flatline. So we do hope it doesn't lead to anything of that ilk. So
just got a dicky ticker.
Yeah, look after your dicky ticker. It's slightly my fault, to be fair, because she made me take her out to the Anthony Minghella Theatre in Newport to see Neil James's play, which was very good. We enjoyed meeting Neil. We enjoyed watching the play, and it might have been a bit too much for a dicky ticker. So, but at least we got to see him and the play and stuff. So, don't often get out to see live drama and stuff. So it was good fun, and a packed out audience too. So I've got something.
What's it like to meet a listener that you hadn't met before?
It's always nice to meet people who are complimenting you. I'll try and refrain from the temptation to advise them to take some sort of counselling, but I just said thank you, and we sort of moved on from there.
By the way, Debbie's been on the podcast almost 10 years.
No, she didn't have a dicky ticker back then, though, did she?
Her first appearance was for podcast number 217 in April of 2014.
Thanks, Kirby. Okay.
He says that in February, so it might have been a good announcement to make in April.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
right.
No, he just was. Master was just saying that we've known her for.
Yeah, what I said was I've known her slightly longer. I worked with her for a couple of years before she came on the show. Yeah. And then I knew her, she was a customer before she started working at the co-op, so I've known her a little bit of time. But anyway.
And you started talking with her about Doctor Who somehow.
No, I was serving her at the checkout at the co-op, and her text went off, and it was the TARDIS sound effect. So I thought, and then she started working at the co-op at the post office at the co-op. So things. I actually went up to her at the counter and sort of thought I'll ask her if she wants to come on the show. I didn't expect her to say yes, to be fair, so I was quite pleased. Anyway, so live feed. We God's sake. Live feed is Lillian Robbins saying hi, and then where's Neil? I think he's still got a few more shows to do, Lillian, but he did mention you quite a lot, actually. But while Lillian's there, Neil made me aware of a couple of Lillian's facts that I was unaware of. Of course, we created the hashtag Lillian's Legs, but there are a couple of other channels that Lillian has on a similar ilk that aren't her legs. So if you've got any hashtags, Lillian, you'd like me to mention on the show for your fans, I'm quite happy to do so. But they look just as good as the Lillian's Legs page. So I'm just going to say, so one day we'll have just hashtag Lillian. I suppose we get to see all of her all at once. Right then, we got this bit of music to play. Tim Jury says, I see you've reached my favourite episode of Series 8. Such a wonderful, original idea. And Terry Miles says, good evening, Adam. And I love Lillian. Lillian says, Lily's bum, you mean? I think that was one of them. Wasn't there another one as well?
Pictures of her bum?
Well, she's got a nice bum, Mary. Why not? I'm sure there was another one. I thought there was three. Maybe it's just Lillian's bum. Maybe. Anyway, yeah. Neil made me aware. Made as well. I think Neil is a fan of Lillian. I think she's very much a Lillian fan. As are we, but in a slightly different context. Right then, so this week we're going to be looking at an episode called Flatline, and it doesn't feature Kiefer Sutherland or Julia Roberts, so don't get confused. It's Flatline, Doctor Who. So, without further ado, we'll move on. And Kirby, what did I say?
I don't know. What'd you say?
You've forgotten already. Okay, so Flatline begins with a beardy bloke on the phone, sort of a bit scared because stuff's happening, and then he suddenly disappears and the phone just swings around, and then there's like a picture of him. Remember that sort of, was it a Leonardo da Vinci thing, or was it of the skull, or was it that artist that did Coburn? No, not Coburn. It was the one that painted Henry VIII and all that lot. I can't remember his name now. They did, basically it's a painting of somebody's head when it's really, really long, and you move the camera angle and it creates the correct dimensions. I think it was.
I don't know.
Dimensions in time.
What?
Nothing.
You're talking about an actor?
I'm talking about an artist, a Tudor artist, who a very prolific Tudor artist who painted lots of stuff, and he also painted.
I could tell you, but I would have to get up and find a book on this sort of art.
Yeah, no, it's
no.
I'm
not going to.
No, it's not a sort of art. Basically, it's paint. I think there's a painting of Henry VIII, and within the painting is this sort of.
It's a skull, yeah.
It's a skull, and if you move to a certain angle, the skull is distorted in the painting, but when you sort of move to a certain angle, it looks like a proper skull. It's very, very clever for its time.
I have an entire book devoted to examples of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's also other ones where, like, the book has a flexible mylar reflecting sheet in it that you can also roll that up into a cylinder and put it down on the middle of some of these paintings, and it will show you the picture.
Yeah, okay.
All kinds of things like that.
No, I was just trying to think what the artist's name was, but never mind. It's a very, lifelike artist, as was Van Dyck's another artist from the Stuart period, who painted some very lifelike portraits of King Charles I and King Charles II. Moving on. Right, so where do we get up to? So, yeah, the doctor...
the artist is Hans Holbein or
Oh, and nearly, I'd say Coburn. Well, that's quite close for me. Yeah, Holbein it is.
And the painting itself is called The Ambassadors.
Holbein, yeah, Hans Holbein. Right, so yeah, the doctor and Clara having a little bit of a banter session inside the TARDIS, and then Clara notices that the door of the TARDIS has shrunk a bit, because the doctor's saying that there's a bit of a problem with the dimensions, and he said, right, I'm going to try and get you back to around about the time you left ish, didn't he? And then I said, well, I can only manage ish at the moment because there's a few dimensional issues. Oh, come on, that was worth it. Where's my bell gone? Who's nicked my bell? God, I leave this room for 5 minutes, and a very major tool for the podcast has completely disappeared.
One of my quotes was, "These readings are very ishy."
Thank you, Mary. Yes. But you don't get a bell for that because my one was better. Where the hell's my bell gone? You don't get a bell anyway because I've lost it. Okay, we'll leave the bell. Don't worry about that. It should be here. So when noticing that the TARDIS door has shrunk, the Doctor sticks his head out and that's right. It tries and then squeezes out. In fact, and of course he thinks it's quite cute initially, and then they go back in. Oh no, Clara walks off and the Doctor goes back in, and then we meet some people who are doing community service, including that bloke that was in our Feeder's Aim Pet, who's a bit of a one, isn't he? Shall we say? including Rigsy, who a nice young lad who's who's in community service because he did some graffiti art, and he's told rather cruelly, but he has to do it, paint over his signature first. Well, they don't call that a signature, do they, on graffiti? It's got another name.
Called a tag.
I said it before you, Kirby. I get it. Where's my bell? I'm on form tonight, and I can't even ding myself.
By the way, the old guy was in Guardians of the Galaxy as the Broker, which is where I first remember seeing him.
The old guy.
Yes.
Are you talking about the bloke that was in Auf Wiedersehen, Pat, that I just mentioned? The boss.
Yeah, I don't know what Auf Wiedersehen is.
Oh, my God. The bloke who's basically in charge of them all.
Yeah.
Hello? Anybody there?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Right, yes. Right. So, yes, I didn't know he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. I expect, Karen Gillan got him the part or something like that.
He's in lots of stuff.
Okay, well, he was originally in Auf Wiedersehen, Pat, along with actors like Jimmy Nail and Timothy Spall, but you probably wouldn't have heard of him, Timothy Spall. But never mind.
Of course I've heard of Timothy Spall.
No, you have not. You're only saying you have because I mentioned it.
No,
Meanwhile, what?
You're talking about Wormtail.
No, I'm talking about Timothy
Harry
Spall.
Potter.
Timothy Spall. Timothy Spall, I should say. Anyway. Ooh. I think Isabella's in trouble. Isabella's in trouble. She's getting that tone from Deb's voice. Right, so yeah, so at the moment the Doctor's investigating the dimensional issues from inside the TARDIS, while Clara is sort of going about having a little poke around, see if she can find out what's going on. She meets Rigsy and the lads, and befriends Rigsy, who seems like a very nice young man. Immediately goes back to find the Doctor and the TARDIS, and the TARDIS is shrunk to a tiny, dinky little thing that I've got on my mantelpiece. It's so cool. In fact, it's even smaller than that. And her reaction to it is rather cute, to be fair. I think her reaction to that little dinky TARDIS is the same reaction that everybody had when Character Options first released the TARDIS that was a money box, and or the other one where you could press a button underneath it and do the sound, or the doors would open and it would make that sort of humming noise that the TARDIS does when you open it up.
Yeah, I'm looking over on my knick-knack shelf, and I've got at least 4 tiny TARDISes.
I have one at the moment that the 13th Doctor is sort of leaning up against, because they haven't released the appropriate further Doctors after that just yet. Although I have got somewhere under my desk, and I was really tempted to get it out of this box, because Deb said not to get it out of its box. That's the thingy Doctor, the fugitive Doctor. Deb said not to get it out of its box for one reason or other. But if I don't take it out of its box, it's just going to be stuffed under this desk. And there's a TARDIS in it I don't really want, but there you go. So, like we said, it's shrunk to a little tiny cutie TARDIS, and the Doctor, and these scenes are so fab when his face is poking up through this little tiny box, and Clara sort of taking the mickey out of him a little bit, which is really, really funny. She picks it up and puts it in her bag. And I've always loved the idea of having a TARDIS bag, and for this time, after the Doctor hands the psychic thingy and a sonic screwdriver and a few other little bits and bobs, she's basically got a TARDIS bag, because all she has to do is reach into a bag and the Doctor hands her something, which is really, really cool. You could suggest...
Master?
Hang on, let me finish before you butt in. You could suggest that a couple of the objects she was handed might not have fitted through the TARDIS doors in those dimensions, but hey-ho. Yes, Kirby.
Why not? Why wouldn't they? Yeah, there's a scene of the filming some of that in the making of that you can see on YouTube, but it wasn't Peter Capaldi's hand coming out of her bag. It was some other bloke.
Okay. What's that? Is someone being rung? I can hear a boom boom noise, or someone's battery running out.
It is.
My phone is sitting next to the microphone. Would you like me to move it?
Well, is it making a boom boom noise?
It was when Fred walks past one of the motion cameras by the front door. It will inform me that I've got something on the camera.
Thank you, Kirby. Okay.
What it was.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, so meanwhile, basically Clara's been licensed to be the Doctor, although he didn't actually say that. She decided that he did say that because she's got all the kit. She's got the TARDIS, the sonic screwdriver, a sort of communication for advice from the Doctor himself. So she goes about being the Doctor, which irritates the Doctor a little bit, and everybody who doesn't like Clara being the Doctor doesn't irritate me in the slightest. So we'll carry on. So it starts off as the story begins, as they're sort of poking around flats and stuff like that. Reasonably light-hearted investigation. Yes, a couple of people may have sort of disappeared, but they were at this stage. They've only disappeared. That we don't know they've actually been killed, and so they enlist a police officer to help with the investigation. And what do you think happens to her? She becomes absorbed.
What does happen to her?
She gets absorbed into the carpet, and
kind of like the Absorbaloff.
Yeah, it was a bit. It's a shame, really. A very good scene, though. Rigsy and Clara don't see this because they're in another room, and interesting that the carpet design is very similar to one we used to have. Oh no, it's like the carpet design in this room, actually. It's really like the carpet design in this room. I can't at the moment, but it's a very similar pattern. Anyway, so poor police officer gets absorbed into the carpet, and then they're in the room, and then the Doctor's saying, is it something like stay away from the walls or something like that? I can't remember. Was it something like that? Because he's sort of sussed out there's a two-dimensional element to whatever's causing this, which of course it's a creature from a two-dimensional universe type thing, and so this creature is sort of turning everything into two dimensions, like the sofa going into two dimensions was really cute.
And Master.
God, I'm really gushing about this, and you're interrupting me. Go on.
Yeah, it's also dissecting the people. There's
skin
on one wall and a nervous system on another wall.
But the Doctor gives them the benefit of the doubt, so maybe that
the desert scene.
maybe these two-dimensional creatures don't realise that the human beings are meant to be in three dimensions, so they feel as if they're trying to help them out. Obviously, we find out later on that's not actually the case. Moving on. So, in the middle of trying to save themselves with a dangly chair, which is really quite clever, Danny decides that's the moment I want to call Clara. So Clara tries to deal with the phone call while also trying to deal with staying alive and trying to save Rigsy as well. So that was quite funny. I've noticed, I may have noticed this previous time, that the Doctor's hair length sort of changes drastically in this episode.
All of a sudden he had really short hair,
yeah. Hang on, my thing's gone funny.
It's a science fiction fantasy TV show.
Science fantasy hairdresser show, did you say?
Yes.
Now, why does Clara keep lying to Danny about where she is? Did he tell her he doesn't want her to travel with the Doctor anymore?
I don't know. Wasn't there a point in which Clara sort of said, right, so I'm never travelling with you again, so we'll do that Mummy on the Orient Express thing, and at the end of it she said, actually no, maybe I do actually want to carry on. Maybe she'd told Danny at that point that she wasn't going to travel with the Doctor again, and that's where she's got herself into this sort of in the middle of this lie thing. Anyway, down in the underpass areas, there's paintings of people on the wall, which are actually people that have been killed, but they're actually being manifested into a motion by the aliens that have sort of taken them, and then from this point onwards, they end up in a lot of trouble because the aliens seem to be gaining power, and we find out they're actually gaining power from the TARDIS, hence the TARDIS is shrunk, and they start rising up from the ground and being quite scary, and they killed one of the workers, and he kept on appearing. They sort of glitch, don't they, as they're appearing, and still look like they're sort of partly painted and stuff. And so I'm going to sort of move on a bit here because I don't.
The effects on this still hold up 10 years later.
Oh, yeah, they do, yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah, I watched it on my big telly and it looks snap. And there's a point, so they're under this, in the underground pass thingamajig and trying to deal with these aliens, and Clara does have to take charge. She does have the Doctor in an earpiece for a period of time, until the TARDIS gets sort of knocked out of her hands and falls down a great big thingy, cavern, I suppose you'd call it, and that the creatures get more and more sort of vicious, and they're gaining power, and so I think it gets to the point. I'm sorry I'm moving forward, but basically that's what all this part of the story is, them running from this.
Yeah,
this sort
it's
of
just
thing.
more of the same thing.
Yeah, so they're trying to get away from and stay out of the trouble from these aliens. Riggsy's been really heroic. They jump in the train at some point and just get out of it before it sort of becomes a mural on the wall. Because Rigsy said he's going to sort of like sacrifice himself. And then the TARDIS eventually becomes a little cube, doesn't it, Kirby? It doesn't have its police box.
It looks like that communications cube from...
It's lost so much power, it's gone to... it's sort of...
Doctor's wife.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, that railroad... the abandoned siding area outside where the TARDIS shrunk.
Yeah.
That was also where the bomb was from the Dr. Dance's Empty Child.
Why, thank you.
And you have to admit that it's funny watching the Doctor get away from the train, Addams Family style.
Yes. And they actually mentioned the Addams Family in dialogue, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I can't remember. I know that the TARDIS. I can't remember why it suddenly gets its power back.
I don't remember why. It was something about the dimensional creatures were trying to throw energy at something, at a wall.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. This is what it. I can explain.
Go on then.
I'll explain later.
No, now. Right.
The Dr. Clara gets Rigsy to paint a fake door on the back of a poster.
Yeah.
So that and they trick the Boneless to try to open the door, but since it's not really a door, their energy goes through the wall and into the TARDIS.
Oh, so it's a painted door. I knew it was a door.
I knew there was something painted. I didn't realise. I thought it was the door of the TARDIS wasn't a real door, and that's how it got into the TARDIS. But that makes more sense, actually, so that's good. And, of course, the cube becomes a TARDIS box, and it grows and grows and grows. And the Doctor's quite cross at this stage when he comes out of the TARDIS, because he's given them a chance, but they've obviously shown themselves to be utter monsters, and I do love that. Final, real, proper monsters. No benevolence. They are just monsters, and that's that. And the Doctor deals with them.
No misunderstood or abused monsters.
Just monsters. And he was talking about other creatures he's met in the past, like the gas creatures and all that stuff. So he's well experienced with giving people a chance or monsters a chance, and he just deals with them. And the same way he dealt with the Gelth, and the same way he dealt with the Of Minds in. What's that series called? The one that was really good with David Tennant became human and the Watch and everything. Family of Blood or something like that. Cool. And it dealt with them in that way. And it was just great. And that was essentially that. But the interesting thing, of course, we saw the Artron energy going into the little cube, turning it back into the TARDIS as we know now. And that's why the Doctor's hair shrunk, because he had a slight regeneration of his hair. But by the end of the episode, it had gone back to its original sort of length we saw in the beginning of the episode. And, that's basically it. I know we skipped through bits of it.
What happened was they brought him back in to do some pickup lines.
Yeah, after he'd done a haircut.
He had cut his hair in between.
Yeah. Okay, right, so Flatline. Crap. No, I'm only joking. No, it's really, really good. It's original, which is always a good starter. The cast are really fab, but even the guest cast are really fab. Obviously, Riggsy's a great character. Clara's sort of played by Jenna Coleman, who's in her absolute element in this story. Earthbound episodes can be a bit boring, but not this one. When I watched it this time, I couldn't really remember much about it the first time, so it was almost like watching it as a new episode for me.
Yeah.
And it was very Doctor Who. Yes, the Doctor was sort of a bit Doctor-like, wasn't he? He was trapped in the TARDIS, but he was able still to orchestrate things. However much Clara was being Clara Doctor, it was still the Doctor orchestrating stuff until the last bit at the end when she sort of used a bit of her own initiative with the help of Rigsy. But in the end, it was just a fabulous standalone episode, and I do like the odd standalone episode that's quite good. So, yeah, again, it's one, talking about the hatred that we have for Moffat and Moffat's era and potentially Capaldi's era, i.e. people like Ben never watching it again and a few others. This episode is an exception to that rule, and there's been a few episodes that I have forgotten that, oh yes, it is actually really, really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. What did you think about it then, Kirby?
First of all, one thing, Ben liked it 10 years ago. He was on when we discussed it. He said it was all right, but he actually said he liked it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one. I watched it for the first time in 10 years yesterday with Fred, and she really liked it too.
Did she? Had she watched it before?
Yeah, she watched it 10 years ago.
Okay.
And then we ended up last night, as we were watching, she saw the next time trailer for In the Forest of the Stupid, and she insisted on watching that one, and she liked it.
Oh my!
And I saw again how horrible it is. Anyway, this one, really enjoyed it. Didn't really have much of a problem with with Clara becoming the Doctor, because we didn't know at this point that it was going to be that her character was going to continue doing this and become annoying for doing it.
Oh, okay.
It was not annoying this time around because it was new.
Okay.
And yes, it will become very annoying.
If you say so.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And not looking forward to next week.
All right. Thank you, Kirby. Right. Stuff coming through on the live feed. Lillian has added the hashtag sexy nylon nerd, which is SEXYNY, that's N for Norman, LONNERD, and also, then Neil James come up and said, hi you magnificent humans, and then, here we go, and the flirting starts. Hi Lillian, hi Neil. We'll leave them to it for the moment. And
Deb wanted Neil to know how much she enjoyed his show.
We told him face to face, but she did say
well,
that. She did reiterate it.
She couldn't be here to make sure to tell him. So
yeah, she couldn't be bothered to be here. Neil, she couldn't be bothered to be here. She threw in one of those Reese Parton excuses to avoid being on the show, but we did enjoy it. Anyway, this is what the listeners are waiting for. Mary, what did you think of this one?
Actually, it is a good story. It's well run. It's well acted. It's well.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Well,
you like it better 10 years later than you did 10 years ago.
So 10 years ago, I did not like it.
Yeah, you were on the negative side of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I recognize this time, anyway, that it's a good story. And it's a really good premise right up until Clara says the quiet part out loud. When she says, does this mean I'm you now?
No.
But it still isn't that. It hasn't become that yet, because the Doctor is still mostly in charge, and he's telling her what to do, and she's doing it. So that I was okay with that. But of course, the spark of the future for Dr. Clara happens, when she comes up with that idea of having the kid paint the door. That then I guess brings back the TARDIS. This one good. But unfortunately, I have the view of history, and I know that we're headed into the Clara as a doctor, and the doctor being this feeble old guy that needs someone looking after him. That's coming up, so I'm dreading it coming. But for now, anyway, this story is good, and I enjoyed it.
Well, that's
and I like the humor that was in it too.
Yes. It was a lot of good humor in it. Yes.
This is a really good episode.
This is like classic Doctor Who. The humor, the scariness. A companion and the doctor's trying to fix things. Yeah, this is classic Doctor Who.
Excellent. So we liked it. I don't know what Debbie thought of it because she's not on the show. Did Robert provide anything? No, okay.
Not really. But let me look at what he's mostly talking about his moving and stuff.
Today I am mostly talking about moving and stuff and how hot it is here in Australia.
Yes, it was hot. Medical stuff and trying to move.
Hot medical stuff and trying to move. Another way you sum things up. Okay, right then. So, Kirby, you've had plenty of time to prep for this particular part of the show, so I hope you're ready.
I'm going to refresh because sometimes people put stuff in there.
I bet they do, but we're trying to get some feedback out of your request.
By the way, there was a little bit of feedback on the Isle of Wight. Let me refresh that one as well. So I'll start there. And the feedback is from Julian Clark. I love this episode.
Right, okay.
Okay, now over on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast Facebook group, which you can join, we have Mr. M. Says, please don't do that. That's just wrong. I missed last week because I was on holiday. I'm still on holiday now, though, so that isn't really a very good excuse. I blame Reese Pardon.
Right.
Anyway, suffice to say, Moto is a great episode and deserves a hearty 9 out of 10. That's Mummy on the Orient Express. Flatline by Jamie Math Eson. I have a colleague who was 10 when this went out. If that makes me feel old, then who knows how old it must make you feel, Adam.
What?
And the police officer getting sucked into the wall scared her so much that she refuses to watch Doctor Who to this day. What a brilliant endorsement for what is, for me, the best episode of this series.
Right.
The monsters are brilliant, wonderfully realized, amazingly designed, and suitably scary. It's nice for us to get out of London for a change. The supporting characters are well realized and memorable. Yeah. And the narratively flows nicely with clever logical progression leading to some fun set pieces.
Right.
And are you ready? Jenna Coleman is hot.
She is indeed. I forgot to mention that.
It's nice that she gets to take center stage in this one. Despite that, it must be said that Capaldi's performance, limited as it is by setting and screen time, stands out, with his defiant speech being his first real punch-the-air moment as the Doc.
Okay.
The PC is called Forest. Is this another clever piece of Moffat foreshadowing?
Moffat.
Yeah.
Moffat foreshadowing.
The only downside for me... May I continue?
No.
The only downside for me is the phone call with Danny, which does feel rather shoehorned into the episode. Jenna's bum looks good when they jump out the window, though.
Well, I think that comes under Jenna Coleman's hot, so I don't really have to carry on with that one.
Sat he seen, he means so thee.
Right.
Sat he isn't totally wasted. And there's good dialogue as well if you can focus on it. Anyway, putting that aside, I'd have to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10. I must do some audio again soon. I have something rather fun planned for Death in Heaven. Please don't take that out of context. Next time, wooden acting, and it's not just from the kids.
Dear.
Someone, better warn Lillian, someone named Neil James, says, Flatline, missing people, tiny TARDIS, what's the link? The small TARDIS stuff is fantastic fun, and the episode gets off to a great start. Clara posing as the Doc is funny, and the creepy moments really work well. But after a while, I got a bit frustrated that Capaldi is stuck in the TARDIS, and the guest cast don't seem to shine in this story. So I tend to tune out around the halfway point. I do like the Missy teaser at the end, though. 3 stars out of 5. And that's it.
Oh, is that okay? Well, thank you very much.
By the way, I'm reminded of something I forgot to bring up.
Right.
That in the scene where the supervisor guy pulls the TARDIS out of Clara's bag, and he drops it. They had a prop TARDIS that was meant to be dropped already, but they accidentally dropped a much more expensive one, which caused a delay in filming because it broke.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Oops.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Oopsie.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's everything I've got, except for you don't want me to read.
Well, good evening, 20 minutes on Sunday here. It's just come to 6 o'clock on Sunday night. I'm going to go forward in the bath, and well, it's Monday, but hey. Anyway, earlier in the week, I watched Flatline. I didn't watch it yesterday because I was doing Parkland and a rugby tournament to go and play. God, I was walking like a sideman this morning after all that I'd done. But yeah, I did it really ironing on. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. I can't remember which one, but yeah. Not one of the best, I don't think.
Oh dear.
What?
That storyline just didn't really seem to go anywhere. Obviously, somebody's attacking the TARDIS. The TARDIS shrinking was quite good, and actually as well, Clara becoming the Doctor for the day was also quite good. But it's just you got these aliens, the boneless, and it's trying to work out what it is they're actually wanting to do. Did seem to be you never really found it, did you? You know, what are they doing? They're from a 2-dimensional world going to a 3-dimensional world, and they're killing people off. But why? What is it they're trying to achieve?
Why
that
not?
Never seems to take place. That never seems to get explained. I think it's clever the way they got rid of them by doing the virtual door that Rigsy paints on there, and they go in there and then they power the TARDIS again somehow. But the Doctor is trying to understand what the boneless are trying to do. You know, you say, are they just here to talk? What are they here for? That's what never ever comes out. So I don't understand. It doesn't give any sort of sense or flow to the story, and that's what's missing here. And so, sorry, I just really, really didn't enjoy it. It's good at the end when he saw Missy turning up and saying, you know, you've got that ongoing storyline with Missy. Of course, we don't know who Missy is, but it's getting more and more suspicious, obviously. And so that was good, but the rest of it, don't think I'll bother with this one again. Anyway, until next time, be seeing you.
Right, Kirby, explain to him, please.
Explain to him what?
I think he needs an explanation, because he looked like he got confused somewhere along the line.
I'm not quite sure how to explain. The monsters don't need an explanation. They were just monsters.
Yeah. Well, you could say with the human beings, who obviously are genuinely the probably most evil race in the universe, because they like to kill each other, animals, the earth. They just like to kill things. You could say that it's an extreme version of humans. You know, they've arrived in another dimension. They think that they are the true dimension, and they're just going to kill things just for the sheer fun of it, and then take over that dimension and then spread their existence. I think that's how you could probably potentially explain it. They're just evil. Yes? Does that cover it?
Yes.
No? Okay, well, I'm going to say that does cover it. Right. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Where are you going?
Yeah. There, it's okay. Shh.
I forgot what I was doing now. Oh, yes, so we're doing feedback, weren't we? Mary, we have something to dictate.
From the Mileses, yes. And they say, hello, everybody. This is the one with the 2D people who are checking out Earth for an invasion. Watch out for murals on the walls. Looks like Danny is getting a bit controlling. At what point, Clara says she's the Doctor. Oh, dear, that's the start of the slippery slope towards the Raven. Sorry, spoilers there. We found this one to be a bit meh. This is an average story. Shame 1 or 2 of the actors looked at the cameras every so often. Oh, I didn't notice that, did you?
No, I didn't notice it either.
We will not be watching it again.
No.
That's Moxie from Auf Wiedersehen, Pet, as Fenton.
Thank you very much.
It's a shame Rigsy, Jovan Wade, didn't stay as a companion. Linda was happy to see Matt Bardock X of the TV hospital program, Casualty. Love the doctor saying, sorry, stopped listening a long time ago.
Yes.
I like that too, yeah. Oh, look, it's Missy again. That is getting a bit old now. Next up, the best thing to happen to London when the trees take over in the forest of the night. Linda and Terry Miles.
Oh, Mary.
Yes.
That you're reading that from them reminded me where they said that they don't plan to watch this one again. 10 years ago, you said you did not want to ever watch this one again.
Oh, sorry, Mary.
Really? Isn't it funny how things change? Maybe because I know, this is like the last gasp before things get really awful.
Yeah, we all probably would have watched it when it went out, as this is a new episode of Doctor Who, let's talk about it. So this is a different context, but this is in
exactly.
The
yeah,
journey.
we were reviewing these like almost immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's also got to bear in mind that it's still 1 week, isn't it? But when there's no break in between the series, so we're just going straight from the end of one series into the next, then the Christmas specials. We normally have to wait for certain aspects of these, but we're doing it within a couple of weeks of one series finishing and the other one starting, and there may be the 6-month wait between then and the Christmas special or whatever. So anyway,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Hello, 20 Megawatt Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Flatline by Jamie Matheson. Two-dimensional creatures are stealing dimensional energy from the TARDIS, and it shrinks. The Doctor is trapped inside, and Clara takes over his role as investigator. The Doctor has seen the Addams Family. Several Doctors have met Addams Family. We're in Bristol. The world's most famous graffiti artist is Banksy from Bristol. The TARDIS in siege mode looks like a model Pandorica for budgetary reasons.
Very, very true.
Many Doctor Who stories take place underground. Another Mathiasson story, another train. Rigsy tries to use it to batter the creatures, even though he is from the wrong side of the tracks. When Clara tricks the creatures into pouring energy back into the TARDIS, the Doctor is freed. With a speech and a wave of the screwdriver, the creatures are banished. Several people got flattened. Usually, it is the Doctor who finds the death of a few people acceptable to save the world. This time it is Fenton, the boss of the community service crew, who does not care that some people have to go to the wall, and the Doctor does not like it. How will Fenton explain the loss of half his community service crew? Bye for now.
Very true. I mean, it's interesting, this setup with the community service crew. There is a TV show on the BBC about a community service crew, which I can't remember what it's called. Is it The Outsiders or something like that? And they get embroiled in all sorts of goings on. And one of the stars of that series is a certain iconic American actor whose name escapes me. Bells.
He's that iconic.
Actor that's in that. Is that The Outsiders? He's also a Hollywood actor. Can't remember his name now. He's in Dune 2 because I've seen a trailer.
There's loads of actors in Dune 2.
Oh, for God's sake! I really do need to remember his name. Oh, and you should know that one because you're clever.
The whole family is having a senior moment, huh?
Me? Honestly, Mary, there's. No, because you left. It's still on the screen waiting to be done, so you'll have to come back at some point when I'm not busy. Fine. Right, hang on, I'll look it up now. So it's Outsiders. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Somebody will come up with the answer while I'm trying to... that's a film. Was it called The Outsiders, that series?
The Outsiders?
No one about the community service people. What was that called?
Oh, you're on about Christopher Walken, aren't you?
Yes, there we go. She did know. Christopher Walken, yeah, he's in that. Is it called The Outsiders? Did I get it right?
I think it's The Outsiders. I don't remember, but I know what show you're on about.
Outsiders.
Now, I've taken a look at the comments on the live. It's The Outlaws.
Oh, Outlaws, yeah.
Why is that?
Because I just remember Stephen Merchant, because, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a casting gem, really. How the hell did they get
you can thank Julian for that.
BBC 3 programme.
I actually don't know. Well, you can ask a lot from how BBC. Well, BBC got Lin-Manuel Miranda for his Dark Materials. Don't know how they did that.
Yeah, but the Outlaws is not a mainstream BBC programme. So it is quite remarkable. Anyway, yes, thank you, Belsy Poo.
So let me know.
How did Amy do this week? Did she,
Did she fall down to the ground?
Oh, she may well have done, yes, I thought. Anyway. Goodbye. Had to be done. Right then, so that's it for feedback, isn't it? Maybe not. They've all fallen asleep. Let's see what's coming through on the live feed. We got what is the poor train driver going to tell his... Did you read that one out?
No.
Hello? Oh, I'll just do it myself then. Yeah, so Julian Gabriel Clark, Outlaws. Thank you, Julian. Lillian Robin. I don't know if I did all your hashtags properly, Lillian, actually, so we'll go Lillian's legs. Legs for days. By the way, I still haven't had my my sort of payment for the Lillian's legs hashtag. Hashtag sexy nylonard, I don't know what that is, and Lily's bum. I think there's other stuff on there, Lillian, but hopefully that's enough of a plug for you. Anyway, she says, what is that poor train driver going to tell his bosses, that he lost a train? No, train's there, it's a drawing on the wall now. And then Julian Gabriel Clark, Christopher Walken. Thank you. I wish I'd picked up on that comment earlier. And then Julian Gabriel Clark, Outlaws. So I got there in the end. It does sometimes take me a bit of time. We have to remember I'm quite old. I've been doing this show for 14 years, nearly 14 years. Yeah, Isabella was a tiny little 3-year-old when I started. I feel like maybe I should have given up years ago. But anyway, back to Doctor Who.
And what would I do on a Sunday afternoon?
Oh, I'd probably watch telly or work or stuff.
Spring long, we're going to have more and more to do.
And maybe I'd also have more cups of tea. I've only ever had one since I finished work. It's a very difficult thing to contend with. Right, Doctor Who News is the next feature we're going to do on this show.
Is it though?
Talking about Doctor Who News, well, it's also encompassed with FantasyCon news. Sure. Oh yes, I might have accidentally bought a Dalek off our friend Griff, who used to live on the Isle of Wight and used to create, and still does create, Doctor Who props. He created Julian Gabriel Clark's K9, who we very iconically had photographed with John Leeson. And
is it a full-size Dalek?
It's a full-size Dalek. I haven't got it yet because he lives on the mainland somewhere. But I missed out on a Dalek he had for sale last year because we ummed and ahed about it, and I didn't think Deb would think it was a good idea. And then he sold it to someone else, and I was gutted. Then Roy bought Dale K, which is his Dalek, and so I said to Griff, if one becomes available, please, give me first dibs on it. One became available. Needs a bit of work doing to him, but then it actually that gives it more of an element of a 1960s Dalek. But he says it's based on a Genesis of the Daleks one, so it's like a light blue Dalek or silvery blue.
So where are you going to put it?
That's the problem. I haven't got any room in this place, so I'm hoping to find somebody who's prepared to store it in between us using it for stuff. So that's the problem. I haven't got it yet, but it's something that is in the pipeline. I'm hoping Roy might be able to potentially store it with Dale K, but see how we get on with that one.
You go store it in that garage with the guy who's got the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
No, because the only thing that fits in that garage is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and mini Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and a flat pack TARDIS. So, but anyway, the plus side of it, I seem to have a Dalek. But again, these are it's very exciting.
You've always wanted a Dalek.
Not really. I just feel that I need to make some sort of contribution.
I want a Dalek. Well, Fred wants a Dalek.
I've got a small one.
She's got her Lego Dalek, but it's dismantled in the garage.
Yeah, if it were a Lego Dalek, I don't think I'd have a storage issue, to be fair.
No. Don't you remember the Lego Dalek? It's a full-size Dalek, but it looks like it's made out of Legos.
No, I've seen a sort of full-size TARDIS made out of Lego. That must have been blimmin' heavy. Anyway, so that's FantasyCon news, apart from the other bits and bobs that may have been mentioned in the past. So things are ticking along with FantasyCon. I'm very busy doing other stuff, so that's why it's not a constant stream of posts about the event, but things are still happening in the background, and I might have to repost stuff just to keep the momentum going. But it is a long time away, good 6 months off, so but it's all quite exciting, isn't it? Oh, there's been some passings actually recently of celebrity people, and I was unaware of this one. Pamela Salem, who was a very beautiful lady who was very iconically in Robots of Death, as far as Doctor Who goes. Anyway, she's got lots and lots of stuff, but like The Need in Line, Blake Seven, and Howard's Way, and all sorts of things. But I can't remember a character name in that Doctor Who story, the Robots of Death. But she was very good, and 80 years old. She's also Moneypenny, and great James Bond, Never Say Never Again. She would have been the perfect Moneypenny, so I'm not surprised she played that part. So sad. Doctor Who Chronicles 1971. The new 116-page bookazine from the makers of Doctor Who magazine celebrates an unforgettable era in the show's history. And it says the success of the first episode starring John Pertwee saved the series from the threat of cancellation. A year later, the next phase of its reinvention introduced a new assistant for the Doctor and a debonair adversary to threaten him during his exile on Earth. The colourful formula for some of Doctor Who's best-loved adventures was complete. And that is Chronicles of 1971, and it's priced at $11.99, and probably can be bought from places like whone.co.uk if you don't live in the UK.
Is it whone.co.uk?
Edge of Destruction on Zoetrope Picture Disc. To mark Record Store Day 2024, Demon Records are releasing the complete narrated TV soundtrack of the Doctor Who story, The Edge of Destruction. Going to get that, Kirby?
No.
I'm very quiet. I assume that is a no. That's essentially Doctor Who news. Somebody else passed away today, and I seem to find it quite sad. I noticed Ringo Starr got knighted by Prince William. I thought he'd already been knighted. I know it's not Doctor Who news, but that just sort of sprung to mind.
This is interesting. I did not know that.
I did not know that. I did not know that, and I did not know that. So let's see what's coming through on the live feed. Julian Gabriel Clark says, if anyone's interested, my fan film with Doctor Who London will be out later this week. Well, when you have a link to that, Julian, please post it on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who Podcast Facebook group, which you can join, because I know Kirby, for one, would be particularly interested in it. Wouldn't you, Kirby?
Absolutely. I already, when I found out about it yesterday, I subscribed to that YouTube channel.
Oh, sorry. See, Kirby's got time to devote to social media side of things. So, Kirby,
I'm always on social media.
Kirby, you are now hired as the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who Podcast official social media tuner-innerer. Congratulations. Okay. Love the enthusiasm.
The Facebook group is called not Facebook group. There's a Facebook group, but there's Doctor Who London Fan Films and Socials, and that might also be the YouTube. Yeah, I guess the YouTube is called Doctor Who London Fan Films.
Do you know what? I just thought something's just dawned on me, Kirby. That here we are doing a podcast, doing the best podcast in the world about Doctor Who.
Yes.
Oh, good. No one's interrupted me and disagreeing with that. And we're not members of DWAS. How did this happen?
I remember DWAS back when I first heard about Doctor Who.
So are you a member of DWAS now?
No.
Are you a member of DWAS? No. Pardon?
The Doctor Who Appreciation Society.
That's my job to say that, Kirby. Okay. Because I set the question up. Yeah, I should really join them, to be fair. So might have to do that at some point. Anyway, so moving on, the next piece of the show. Actually, I'm going to have a sneaky peek. It's not for sponsorship reasons, but I'm going to have a quick sneaky peek at whowon.co.uk because, as I say,
whowon.co.uk.
They're not so much. We're not so much being sponsored by them, but they're our friends, and they've invested money in the show over the years. So I'm just going to see what they've got going on at their amazing website. Church on Ruby Road DVD. I can't believe the DVDs are still being manufactured and stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah.
DVDs have been around for years.
Although, as I understand it, they're not doing them in Australia anymore.
Oh, well,
which is upsetting some people.
Oh, dear. Well, if it was done in New Zealand, have you ever heard a New Zealander speak? Very, very confusing. No, you've got A, E, I, O, and U, the 5 vowels. New Zealanders seem to switch them around into different pronunciations. And if you watch Lego Masters New Zealand, as I do, there was a spoiler there for what I've been watching this week, you get distracted by this weird way of pronouncing stuff. Even worse than the Americans. Isn't that right, Kirby?
I don't know.
Okay, Church on Ruby Road DVD is available at whowon.co.uk along with Daleks in Colour, which is a DVD, I presume, of... Hang on, let's have a quick look at this. On an alien world, the Doctor encounters Daleks... Oh, this is the Daleks, as in the story of the Daleks in Colour, which I've actually saved onto the Sky Q box from its broadcast on BBC4 a few weeks ago. Escape the Daleks! A thrilling adventure for the Third Doctor, as played on TV by John Pertwee and his companion Joe Grant. It's a CD. 4 coaster set of Doctor Who stuff, like a Cyberman from 1968 and TARDIS and other Dalek and some other graphics. Dalek Invasion minifigures. That's like 4 Daleks. Star Beast, the novel, we spoke about that last time. I'm just going to see if I'm right about the that magazine I just mentioned, Doctor Who magazine. That's it. Don't think I can see it. Maybe I should search. I've been advising people to buy Doctor Who magazine from this website for several years without actually searching to see if they actually sell it. Oh darn! I typed it in wrong. It doesn't look like they do. Oh well, at least it makes people look at the website, doesn't it? And
would
of course,
that be whowon.co.uk?
as previously announced, Sylvester McCoy is featuring at FantasyCon this year. So I would think, wouldn't it be nice to get a few people to buy the question mark pullover from Lavazzi, and I reckon you'd be highly impressed if a lot of Doctor Who fans came dressed as a 7th Doctor too. It's one of the easiest Doctor Who cosplays, especially if you buy the various items you can get from lavazzi.co.uk. Right, we're moving on to what we watched this week. Is that all right with you, Mary?
It's all right with me.
Good, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So, I'll see if I can my account. That will remind me what films I've seen this week. Because actually we've suddenly gone back into being prolific cinema goers this week. Over the last couple of weeks, I should say. I can't find it. I've got to log in first. I'm sorry. But televisually, Traitors Australia, or as anybody who watches the series knows, and I've mentioned this previously on the show, The Traders Australia. We just started watching that after having finishing watching the UK one. The American one is going to be available on the iPlayer quite soon. The usual stuff I watch on Discovery Plus and football and what's about the program where the planes crash? Air crash investigation. Series 22 is currently on one of I think it's on National Geographical Channel or something like that. But last night we went to see, it's Olivia Colman's film, and because I didn't buy it online, it hasn't saved the fact that I went to see it. I'm going to Google it because I'm terrible at remembering the titles of stuff.
Yeah, I do
just talk amongst yourselves a second. I've got to find out before Julian gets the title. Oh God, I did that wrong. I put google.co.uk, not .co.uk, and it's Olivia Colman. Olivia.
She's in everything.
Olivia Colman.
That doesn't leave much eliminated.
Do you know what film it is then, Mary?
I love
Letters.
In the Five-ish Doctors reboot, she says that. It's one of her lines. Yeah. I'm in everything.
Oh, I've got it right. So,
yes,
I've got it. I've got it now. So on is it Thursday or Friday? Anyway, we went to the cinema. Me and Deb went to the cinema to watch Wicked Little Letters, which is Olivia Colman's elitist movie.
Coming true of David Tennant too. He seems to be in everything now.
Yeah, he presented the BAFTAs. Yes.
Yeah.
The BAFTA Awards, if you get a chance to watch them, I don't know if you do or not, were it's a great show. Obviously, the awards are great anyway, and all the stars that won them were actually there, which is incredible. But the highlight was the Best Picture Award, which was presented by Michael J. Fox, who was absolutely amazing. He got wheeled slightly onto the stage, and then he walked a short distance to the microphone to do the presentation. And he's just an icon, isn't he?
He's an American actor, so what's he doing the BAFTAs for?
Well, the BAFTAs, there's only one category, which is Best British Film, which is a British only. Everything else was won by international films and stuff. So,
I see.
Barbie,
In Wicked
Barbie
Little
missed
Letters,
out again.
Timothy Spall is in that.
In what? Wicked? Oh, you know about Timothy Spall now, but not Alfie St. Pat, which is first series or first thing he ever did. That's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, Wicked Little Letters. If you get
what was the Best Picture? What film won?
Oh God, now I've got to Google the BAFTA. Oh, go on. Then. BAFTA film 2024. That's 3. I can't even winners. No, I've got to try and type this in before Julian comes up with the answers. Oh, hang on. Winners,
Oppenheimer.
Right. Will you be quiet? She asked me. Right then. The BAFTA. I shouldn't be spoilerific at this stage because the BAFTAs were last Sunday. Okay,
a week ago.
I'll do it in the order it says on the screen. Yes, yeah. So Best Actor Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. Best Actress Emma Stone for Poor Things. Zone of Interest, Best British Film. Poor Things, Best Visual Effects. Any particular category you wanted me to read out?
Mary, just for the Best Picture, and
done that one.
So you said it was Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
No, I said it was Oppenheimer.
Best Film, Oppenheimer.
Best Film.
Mm-hmm. Rising Star, Mia McKenna Bruce. Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr. Don't know if you've heard of him.
Good. I see Boy and the Heron won Best Animated Film. I need to see that.
Yeah, that did indeed win Best Animated Film. I'm trying to see one of the other ones that people actually are interested in.
Zone of Interest, yeah.
Best Original Screen... Can I say that in English this time? Best Original Screenplay was Anatomy of a Fall. Best Documentary, 20 Days in Mariupol. What else we got here? Best Supporting Actress, Divine Joy Randolph for Holdovers. Now, that's a great film. And she's absolutely fantastic in it, so she well deserved that.
Again, say the film again.
Have you seen it? Have you seen Holdovers, Mary?
No. That's what I wanted to know. The name of the film that she won it for was, you said it was Holdovers?
Yeah, The Holdovers, yeah.
Okay.
Right, really good film. About it, really. Any other particular thingies you want me to read out from that list of winners? There's quite a lot down here. No, I'll take that as a no then. Right, so moving on to what I watched this week, back to the TV programmes that I've outlined and the sports and stuff. Matt and Deck's Saturday Night Takeaway started up again this week, and there's loads of stuff we've still got on the Skybox we haven't watched yet. But the Iron Claw we watched on Wednesday the 14th of the 2nd. Did I talk about that last time?
Not that
No, I don't remember.
Okay, well, the Iron Claw is about a family of wrestlers, starring Zac Efron, who he's apparently got some sort of block on getting awards because he appeared in a movie called High School Musical back in the day. But he's actually a very, very talented chap, and he's in that. He's the star of this movie. It's got a good cast anyway. It's a really good film. It's based on a true story, although it's been sort of changed quite a lot to turn it into a more, dynamic. A lot of tragedy in it, but a really, really good film. And the other night we watched a film called Bob Marley One Love, which is one of the most heartwarming. What do you call it? What word for it? Tributes. That's a word for it. Good. Yeah, one of the most heartwarming tributes to an iconic musician that I've ever seen, and it's wonderful. And Bob Marley's one. It was nice for me because I mean, Bob Marley was about when I was, as far as he was rising into, the stratosphere when I was about 11 or 12 years old, and one of the first records I bought was Master Blaster, which was a double A side. I can't remember what the other side was. So he holds a particular place in my heart, and it's still such a shame he died so blooming well young. Spoilers, he does die. Anybody who hasn't seen, I'm sorry, but
really? Are you kidding? He's not just living in a retirement community in Florida.
I wish he was, but no. Bob Marley One Love is an absolutely cracking film with amazing performances in it. All round, and I suppose the fact that it's partly produced by Ziggy Marley and Rita Marley, they obviously made sure that it was factual and also a great tribute to a great man. So those are what I watched this week. What about you then, Cubby?
Did I mention last time that I was trying to watch the most recent Spider-Man movies?
Yeah, I think you said you're going to, and I was talking about the animated one that I still haven't watched yet. The second one. I've seen the first one.
I watched the first of the two animated ones several years ago. I need to watch the second one. I understand it's fantastic. So
well, the first one's fantastic. So if the second one's fantastic, that must be an amazing achievement. Carry on.
I watched Spider-Man. Which one is this one? Homecoming.
Oh yeah, you said that last time. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, which I liked. I started to watch Spider-Man Far From Home. And I found it tedious and uninteresting, so I stopped about 45 minutes in.
Naughty man.
And I asked the geek daughter, do I have to finish this one? And she said, no, it's not necessary for No Way Home, which No Way Home is apparently really good. So I'll try to watch Spider-Man No Way Home possibly next week.
Yep.
And let's see, I was able to get together with her again, and we watched Thor: Love and Thunder, which I loved.
Thor: Love and Thunder. Which one's that one? What in order of production?
The most recent Thor movie.
Was it? Yeah.
Where he's up against, I think it's Christopher Walken as.
No, it's Christopher Eccleston.
No, that's the second one. And that one I've not seen for some reason.
Oh dear. Have you not? Why not?
Because I heard that it was not very good.
Don't pay attention to what other people think.
Thor: Love and Thunder is 2 years ago, and it's Christian Bale is the bad guy in it.
So not Christopher Walken or Christopher Eccleston.
No.
Okay.
No. Russell Crowe's in it. Natalie Portman.
Mm. Yeah. Anything else?
It's pretty much. Oh, Russell Crowe was in it.
Yeah.
He played Zeus.
Yeah. Oh, Christ! Someone's got annoyed about that and slammed the door.
So that's pretty much. I mostly watch YouTube. I'm sorry.
Well, Julian says it's good if you like Loki. I like Loki. I like the TV series Loki. Loki is a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah.
Really?
Brother of Thor. You don't know who Loki is? Oh my God, Kirby.
Yes, I know.
Oh my God.
The series. Good grief.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah, but about Loki, as in Loki, the character within all the stuff that Loki's been. Pardon?
I don't know why you're trying to push my buttons about some of these things.
No, I'm not pushing your buttons. I'm just saying, Julian says it's good if you like Loki. So I'm just relaying that to you.
I do like Loki.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Right. Prepare your...
down?
Pardon? If you think of anything else, Kirby. I thought you'd be watching loads of stuff. No?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, loads of YouTube.
Oh, well, does that count?
No.
Oh. That's a shame.
Well, it's like when oh yeah, I did watch the second Black Panther film.
And what did you think of that one?
Oh, it was great. Loved it.
Yeah.
But then I have this annoying habit, according to the Geek Daughter, of after we watch these Marvel stuff, I then go out and I find YouTube videos breaking down all the Easter eggs.
Oh, right.
So
yeah, that doesn't surprise me
I've got
you
like
at all.
3 hours worth of YouTube videos to watch just for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah. Right, I did something similar to you the other day, actually, when I was listening to the Peeps books, and he was talking about a subject, so I had to Google. Oh yeah, he was talking about one of the women. He had he had many illicit stuff going on with women throughout the 6 years that he wrote the main diaries, but there's one particular woman he mentioned that he had a bit of a thing with, so I had to Google her up to see what because he said, oh, she's really pretty, blah 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 blah. So I had to Google up to see a painting of her to see if I would agree with him, and I didn't. Right then, so Mary, what did you watch this week then?
Well, my viewing would probably be very boring to most people because I like to watch sports. So of course I'm watching basketball.
Don't find that boring
now
at all.
that they're now that their big All-Star weekend was over, now I'm back into watching those games.
Yes.
And in the U.S., it's spring training time for baseball, which is my first love. And so I've been watching the exhibition games that have been being played of the various teams. And in the spring, they do their training camps down in warm weather states. So a lot of the East Coast teams go down to Florida, and a lot of the West Coast and middle of the country teams go down to Arizona. So they divide into two camps. One is called the Grapefruit League. Those are the ones in Florida, and then the Cactus League are the ones that go to Arizona. So
I always wondered why they call that the Cactus League. I'd never thought of that.
You've now been educated. Thank you, Mary.
Their training facilities are down in Arizona. Yeah, so then the divided like that across the country, the Cactus League teams pretty much play each other during the spring, to get their skills up. And then the East Coast teams that go down to Florida, the Grapefruit League, they play each other. So it's kind of fun to watch the spring training because you're seeing the players that are coming up from the minor leagues to getting their chance to show off what they can do, to see who's going to join the professional teams, for real, when the season officially starts at the end of March. So I've been watching the spring training games, and they're fun. In terms of TV that isn't basketball or baseball, I've been watching the series called The Chosen, because this is kind of a religious time of year. It's Lent for Christians. Mm-hmm. So I'm watching The Chosen, and although I can nitpick some of the things that they do and some of the people that they portray, because I do read the Bible, the overall theme is just a really good one. How Jesus came to make everybody pretty much, lay down your arguments and get your noses out of all these, books of particulars as to how to worship and how to do, this thing or that thing. Is just love one another. So yeah. I can't argue with the theme. Yeah. But I just finished season 1, and there's 3 seasons on Netflix of The Chosen. Yeah. And I guess the 4th season is out in theaters now. So that's what I watched there. Now, in terms of Big Finish, I'm revisiting a series called Dark Eyes that features the 8th Doctor. And when it came out, and it came out like in 2012, it got all kinds of accolades, and I remember really loving it. So listening to it again, and I still love it. It's really well written, very well done. Paul McGann does what Paul McGann does best. He rails at the skies. Yeah. And the first box set of 4 stories, or 3 stories, eventually grew into 4 box sets, all called Dark Eyes, as his adventures continue. And I remember enjoying all of them. So I'm looking forward to hearing it all again. So that's what I've been up to.
Thank you, Mary. Excellent work. Yeah, I'm just trying to look through the. I mean, you know, the award ceremonies. They do like a tribute reel of the people that have died within the time that the current ceremony goes out and the previous one. Always a very moving affair. But there's a couple of people on there I didn't even know were dead, but I can't remember who they were now. But it's always a bit of a shock.
Sometimes they miss people in those tributes
as
well.
But the actor who played opposite Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky films passed away recently as well, didn't he? He'd been in was it in the Marvel universe? Played a character where he sort of. I can't find anybody that apart from as far as Saints fans go, Chris Nichol, one of our old players and managers, passed away yesterday, I believe. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anybody because it's too far back now. But anyway, so next time, hang on, let's see what I'm doing next week before I
see what's
commit
going
myself.
on.
I nearly didn't do it this week because I'm so busy, Kirby. I should have actually been working the night we went to see Neil James. So I thought, well, maybe to make up for it, we don't do the show this week. But fortunately, you should be very grateful to Debbie for allowing me to do this with just a little bit of a grumble.
Well, you had to see Neil for Lillian's sake.
I did take I've got a picture. I hope Lillian saw the picture of myself, Mrs. Melrose and Neil. I didn't get a chance to get a picture of Neil in his makeup and costume, and he got out of that costume very quick at the end of it, to be fair. What else we've got coming up? So we'll see. It looks like it's okay for next week or next time, I say. And we'll be reviewing a story called In the Forest of the Night. Now, please, listeners,
must we?
Don't take any notice of the co-presenters on this show who try and put our listeners off potentially watching the next story by saying, "Oh, this one's really rubbish. I'm really not looking forward to watching this one." Shut up, otherwise they won't watch it. We haven't got a show to do. So I'm not being contaminated by your opinions. I enjoyed Flatline, and I didn't expect to like it because I'd forgotten about it. I thought, well, if it was that good, I'd remember it. And in fact, I'm glad I didn't remember it because I watched it as a new episode and thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I can't really remember much about In the Forest of the Night, apart from there are lots of kids in it. So we look forward to, well, I personally look forward to watching another episode that feels like a new one, and hopefully maybe others of you who haven't seen In the Forest of the Night will take the sense to take absolutely no notice of Kirby. Right.
Well, and as we've shown, things that we've hated before, we come back and we go, oh, that was really good, or something that we loved before, really looking forward to, we go,
that's true.
That wasn't
and also,
so great.
There's us all gushing about this episode, and Andy Nunny fell asleep, obviously, through it, because obviously he missed some of it. Yes. Lillian Robbins says, yes, I saw the picture of you and Neil. I thought she'd say something like, yes, I saw the picture of you and Neil, and I'll never forgive you. I should have been there. No, she didn't say that. So, anyway, thank you for listening, watching, taking part in the show. Please provide us with feedback, otherwise I'll set the dog on you. Hey, Kurt, how did he move the bed to there? Odie's down there, he's asleep. But I'll wake him up and I'll set him onto you if you don't provide it. It's the only thing we can do after 14 years is threaten people to get them to provide feedback for the show. It's a sad state of affairs, isn't it?
We're getting a decent amount of feedback.
Have you ever listened to a show called Bigger on the Inside? Half their show was just about feedback, and some of it was sent in by me. Anyway, Julian Clark says...
I really don't listen to many other Doctor Who podcasts.
I don't now, but back in the day I did.
I don't either.
Back in the day I did. Anyway, Julian Clark says, it's no better than Fear Her. Huh? But the performance is elevated, so it's fun to watch. Thank you, Julian. Sorry about my inability to read normal English, which seems a sort of problem. Anyway, you were saying, Kirby. No,
I think that they're referring to In the Forest of the Night.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But do you notice then, I got through my goodbye line and didn't actually get to the the initiation of the goodbye for some reason or another. I can't remember how that worked, but we're going to do it again. Thank you for listening, watching, Can I start again? Thank you for listening, watching, taking part in the show. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye-bye.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production, sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are proud members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended. The music on this podcast is covered by limited online music license from PRS for Music.